All right, here we go. So I want to thank you all and welcome you to this quick webinar here. We expect to be here anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, depending on questions and also depending on what you want to see inside of the course that I've created for you. But this specific webinar is going to deal with only the video performance option of the RICA. We're not going to cover the written at all, but I would encourage you, if you are on the fence, if you have not taken the written and you're on the fence about the written, or you've never worked with me to prepare for the written, we have another webinar just like this next Sunday at the same time, so you can get information about the written exam if that is something that you are interested in. So a little bit about me. My name is Emily Muccianti. I am a reading specialist, a reading interventionist. I have been a teacher in the field for over 30 years now. I left the classroom a couple of years ago. The majority of my time was spent in intervention. Went back to grad school, got my master's degree in reading and language arts, and I carry a reading specialist credential. So when I talk about this content, it's content that I know well. I know it like the back of my hand because I've taught it. I've taught it for many, many years. I've taught teachers. I've been a master teacher, mentor teacher, induction mentor, all of those things. So I'm definitely qualified when it comes to the content. And I always say that nobody's been teaching the RICA longer than me. It's been almost 9 years now that I have started to support teachers in this area. It started with one of my son's teachers who couldn't pass the RICA, and I was the reading specialist in the district. She reached out to me, came to my home, and I tutored her. And that's where I was first introduced to the RICA. Back then, there was very little available for teachers to get some support anywhere. And so I actually started holding workshops in my classroom once a month. And I was getting teachers up and down the state who were ready and willing to drive further and further to get to me. And that's when I decided to take it online. And so we've been online now since about March of 2020, and the rest is kind of history. So the course started with the written exam. Last summer, I had some members of my written course said, Emily, please, 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 would you do something for the video? We want you to do that. I had been avoiding it, but yet here we are. So I'll tell you a little bit about that experience as we work through this as well. So before we start about what the requirements are of the video, I want you first to start thinking about if this is an option for you. So you could consider this as an option, and this is all my opinion, okay? I'll tell you why, but it is all my opinion. The decision in the end is yours. But if you have attempted the written several times and have been unsuccessful, then it could potentially be an option for you. And part of that is because you've been preparing for the written and you understand the domains and the competencies, and you have a little bit of that RICA terminology in your head. And so that's going to be easier to come out. If you are a teacher right now or an intern and you have your own class, that might give you the opportunity to work with students to demonstrate your abilities with this video option. And if you have confidence and comfort in your own teaching ability and you possess good classroom management. Because you're on video, these are very important points that you have to be able to show to whoever is watching that video. Now, if you are a special ed teacher and you are in a mod and severe class, I would not recommend this as an option, because part of what you have to do is teach the specific competencies that are asked of in the content specifications, and you may not have a student population that could help you demonstrate that. You know your kids best, but it is something to consider. If you're in a nonverbal class, it is almost impossible to demonstrate your understanding and knowledge with this type of a performance task. So If you fit into any of these, you may want to reconsider this option. If you have too much going on right now in your life and you're trying to complete the RICA and the Cal TPA and get your master's and all of this stuff, and you have a family, you know, life has a way of just making itself known and fitting in no matter what. So if you have too much going on, you may want to put this off. Okay. Maybe not this particular submission date, maybe a different year, maybe consider the written. If you do not have your own class and actually will need to borrow a class, you may want to reconsider. I've seen it be done. It can be done. It just makes it a little more challenging and a bit of a struggle for you with scheduling. If you lack class control, if your classroom management skills are not solid, if the kids tend to have a little more free reign and free run in your class, this may not be the best option because all of those things are going to show up in your video. And although it doesn't say that they're going to score you on that, I would be hard pressed to find any veteran teacher that's going to see a class that's somewhat out of control and be able to give a pass just because of that. So consider that. Again, just my opinion. If you have not attempted the written before, I think you should consider that as your first option because that will help you learn the terminology and the competencies that you need. And if you are not in a placement where you can actually demonstrate the requirements of the RICA, as I mentioned earlier, if you happen to be a mod severe special education teacher and your students are mostly nonverbal, that's going to be a very, very difficult situation in which to demonstrate your knowledge. So if you decide to continue with this option, I want to make sure you understand what the requirements are, very generally speaking. And everything that we're going to talk about right now is what is currently published in the CDC guide, and it is valid through this next school year only, June 13th, 2024. There are only 3 submission deadlines. There are only this one academic year that these templates and this particular guide will be valid. If you go into next year, they will be rewriting everything. So you are required to demonstrate your knowledge and skills in selected competencies from the 5 domains. So it's not like you get to just choose and pick what you're going to do. That is not how it works. They are going to tell you specific competencies that they want to see, and you will have to create a lesson and a template for that specific competency. You must deliver effective reading instruction that is based on the results of ongoing assessment and reflects a knowledge of the standards and is sensitive to your students' needs, all students' needs. So this ongoing assessment part, you are actually collecting assessment data and including this in your templates, and it has to actually prove the need for the instruction and lesson that you are going to be writing. So there are 3 video submissions and each one comes with a template. So the first setting is your whole class, which is considered to be 5 or more students. And that means 5 or more students need to be seen in the video. So from the back of the head of some sort, but you have to demonstrate that that's the correct number of students. You're also writing up a very detailed lesson template with a number of sections that I'll explain to you in the course if you choose to go that route. The second submission is a small group, which consists of anywhere from 3 students, a minimum of 3 up to 12. And you will submit an instructional video and a template as well for that particular group. And then the third and final submission is a one-on-one lesson template and instructional video as well. So 3 submissions. All of these are actually uploaded, will sit in your e-portfolio on the Pearson website, and you will hit submit all at one time when they are complete. So each video must be between 5 and 10 minutes in length. It cannot be 4 minutes and 58 seconds. It cannot be 10 seconds and 10 minutes and 1 second. It has to be between the 5 and 10 minute mark. All of that span of that video must be unedited. So it is only allowed to be trimmed. There can be no pauses, no stops, no cuts or edits in the middle of that 5 to 10 minutes. Can it just be 5 students in general for number 1? Yes, it can be 5 students. So 5 to as many as you need for a whole class. The video also must show the teacher providing the instruction. You must be on camera. You must be facing the camera. You should be seen and heard throughout the duration of your video. Now, in some cases, you may have to walk off out of the camera shot for a minute in order to assist a student and come right back in. That's okay, but you must be there for the vast majority. And the videos must represent your original work. And these have to be videos that have never been submitted before. If you've ever done this before, it's never a good idea to submit something that didn't get a pass anyway. So just ignore it. Do not submit anything that you have done before, and you can't use your Cal TPA videos. This has to be original work. You are required to collect parent permission slips for all students in your recording, and then keep those for your records until after you receive your test scores. Now, some schools will do a general media waiver upon registration, and the question comes up, will that be sufficient? And I am just always one, I would rather be more cautious and have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So inside of our course, we have the CDC copy of the parent permission slip, which you can get whether you do the course or not. We also have it translated into Spanish. My recommendation is have every kid take that. That way your parents understand what they're doing, why they're being recorded. If the parents don't know and the kids go home and say, yeah, my teacher was filming us, that could be a sticky situation. So best to just give the permission slip for the RICA. You can make a backup of your videos while you're kind of going through this process, but you may not distribute them. And after you receive your scores, you are obligated to then destroy all of the videos for confidentiality and privacy purposes of your students. So there are 3 submission deadlines and 3 submission deadlines only. There are also only 3 reporting dates that come. So the first submission deadline is the fall one, which is October 26th. I believe and I've got it on another slide, I believe, but about 3 weeks after this submission is when you would receive your scores. No matter how early you turn in a submission, you will not receive your scores any earlier. There are only 3 testing result release dates. There's one in November, there's one in March, and there's one in July. And those are it. Those are the 3. Registration for this option closes June 1. Nobody can enroll at all on the CDC website for this particular assessment guide and template for this year after June 1. So all requirements must be met to pass. So we're going to look at a little bit about the whole class setting, which again is 5 students or more. And this is required to be pulled from domain 2, which is word analysis. Okay, so this is going to be a word analysis, and you have a choice. You can either choose a sub-competency from competency 6 or competency 7. Now, there's a number of different bullet points underneath each competency. We call those sub-competencies. And so that's where you're going to actually look for some of the detailed information about what you can do. So domain 2, competency 6 or 7 is the whole group lesson. It usually relates either to a phonics lesson, a spelling lesson, multisyllabic words of some sort, but it has to do with that word analysis area. The setting number 2 for small group must cover domain 5. Domain 5 is all about developing a student's reading comprehension. And you have a choice again. You can choose either competency 13, 14, or 15. You just pick one. Now, 13, generally speaking, is kind of broadly reading in general. It's a very broad kind of competency. Competency 14 is specific to narrative text, and competency 15 is specific to expository text. So let's say that you are you actually teach science. You could use competency 15 and do some things with your science curriculum. It does not have to be ELA curriculum. If you find that it aligns better, those are also opportunities there for you to kind of break out of that ELA component. And then the third setting is a one-on-one situation. You will work with an individual student, and this one is required to be domain 4, competency 11. There is no choice. That is what you will do. And this is all about developing a student's vocabulary, academic language, and background knowledge. Now, competency 11 is related to vocabulary development. There are, again, a number of sub-competencies under there where you might get some additional ideas. It may talk about, and don't quote me on this one, but it may be something like simile and metaphor, or how prefixes and suffixes affect words' meanings. So there's a number of different options in there. You are not just creating a lesson from what you see here. That is not nearly specified enough. You have to go to this competency and you have to go to the sub-competencies to find those. So again, you're required to meet all the requirements. You have to have all of the right submissions and complete everything as they direct in order to receive a pass. So you will submit all 3 videos at the same time. Now you can upload them on different days, which I would strongly recommend. And they will sit inside of your portfolio until all of the templates and all of the videos are there. Then you hit submit. I would recommend you not waiting until the end of till the due date to do it all at once. I've had a member who actually did that. It took far longer than she expected to upload, and she missed the submission deadline. Don't wait till the last day. You must submit evidence and videos that have never been scored before. That is another reason why it's important that you are not using videos you've done, or you are not using CalTPA videos. You will submit videos and templates that focus on the correct number of students. You will demonstrate your knowledge and skills with sufficient video evidence. It says very clearly in the assessment guide, you bear the burden of proof. It is up to you to ensure that you have demonstrated everything they have asked for. You must record 5 to 10 minutes of instruction without interrupting the recording or later editing it. Your face must be seen, instruction must be seen and heard. I actually recommend that you record your entire lesson and then trim the ends to get to the 5 or 10 minutes. I think that's a better approach. You will submit your original work of actual teaching in English, and your responses should not be scripted. So if you are a dual immersion teacher, all instruction, all templates, everything must be done in English. Your videos must be recorded as an approved file type and not just saved that way. So an MP4 is an approved file type, and the assessment guide gives you specifics. So if you've got some fancy equipment you're using, you definitely want to use the assessment guide to figure out if you're getting the right thing. Mostly if you're using your phone, or a laptop, it seems to be pretty much they all default to an MP4, but double check that just in case. You must also agree to the RICA candidate attestations, which basically is you swearing that you are the sole author of your submission. So if you teach online, there is some specific information related to online teaching, and you can complete this. We've had, I've had several members do this. They have completed it in an online setting and have passed, had great success. So you can complete it. You must still meet all of the same assessment requirements, and I would direct you to pages 6 and 7 in the assessment guide for details if you fall into that category. So I want you to see what a test result looks like. This is an example of a test result that did not pass. You can see here, there is a total score of 209. A passing score is 220 or higher. And you can see here that the domains, one, and it gives you these others. All of your templates are required to include domain 1 information, which is all about assessment and interpreting that assessment. And then these are those other domains that I just mentioned before. So when it says submission requirement met, that is not a reflection of the quality of your work. This simply means that you turned in everything that was supposed to be turned in. You turned in your video and you turned in your recording for each of those. So met just means you submitted it the way it was supposed to be submitted. There is no score here, okay? But people, if they don't turn in a piece of that, you will get a submission requirements not met and you will automatically not pass. The other thing I really think you need to pay attention to is these 6 diagnostic informations that show you where the need for improvement is. These are the big 6 sticking points that the assessors are looking at. I go over these in depth to make sure that you are hitting the mark and that these aren't missed in yours within the course. If you pass and if you don't pass, you may get areas here that need improvement. So it's giving you a number, you refer to that number to see where your area of weakness was. If you pass, you can see you don't know how what your score was. You will just receive a pass. But again, you will get that diagnostic information. And if there was an area that needed some additional support, they will tell you this could be an area of weakness for you, but you still got your pass. Be happy with your pass and run. So before you begin, take care of a few details. Get permission slips, get permission from your school and your parents first. You need to let your administrators know what you are doing. This is important. They always should be aware if you're doing any kind of recording. So talk to your administrator, let them know that you have to meet this requirement for credentialing and obtain just a verbal consent. And then you want to definitely send those permission slips out to all of your students in your class. Now, if you have kids that don't turn in permission slips, they can still participate in the lesson. They just can't be in your camera view. So they have to kind of be behind the camera. So it won't throw off your lesson design that much if that's the case. Just you still have to have those correct number of students on in front of the camera. Be sure, this is so important. You must review the RICA assessment guide and the content specifications before you do anything else. You need to know what is being asked. I cover it in detail in the course, but this is going to kind of be your Bible. In fact, what I recommend, this is mine, you print it out so that you can see all my highlights where I've gone through it, so I can pick through, and it's my little Bible. That's what I recommend you do. If you don't want to print it, it's like 50 pages, I guess. You could do it on, you could do just a download of it. You could send it to Kinko's or wherever and have it printed too, if you'd like to do that. So be sure that you select a lesson that meets the requirements of the specified domain and competency. Your lesson, your competency, your objective, and your assessment all need to line up to be on the same page. If not, it's going to boot it out. So, oh, this one, I thought I removed that. Ignore that. We're not doing this anymore. Okay. We are not doing a cohort. Let me explain to you now what I have to offer. Okay. So that is generally speaking what you need to do. Again, I have spent countless hours creating a course for you in order to allow you to work on this on your own, asynchronously, and be absolutely supported. So what does the digital course include? It covers all of the content, all of the templates I've given and created annotated samples, all information needed for this submission. It actually has 9 modules with over about 5 hours of recorded video and slide decks. And that's not including all of the additional links to YouTube where I'm showing you options for your lesson. That's probably another 3 hours all there. So there's a great deal of content inside of here. If you decide to enroll in the digital course, I am going to hold monthly Q&A sessions, which are checking in for members only, so that if you get to a troubleshooting spot, you can pick my brain. I am not reading templates and I am not watching videos this year. I did that last year and I bit off more than I could chew. Okay. And so I just can't do it. The other thing that I found is I get really emotionally involved in your plans and I kind of own it. And I really can't do that. It's yours. You have to own it. You have to be the one that the responsibility falls on. And so I am stepping away from that role. I am not reading templates and I'm not watching videos. Now, if you are part of the course, the Q&A sessions will be recorded and they will be inside of the course in another module. So we will actually end up with 10 modules when those start rolling. So the cost of the course is this. It's a one-time payment of $167. It gives you everything that I just showed you, and it will give you access through June 13th, 2024, which is the final submission deadline. After that point, the course doesn't do anybody any good. I have to rewrite it for the next template and the next assessment guide. I will close the course. I will not let anyone enroll after June 1 because that's when the deadline is for enrollment through the CDC. But if you purchase it, you will have access to it through that submission deadline. So let me look at a couple of questions in the chat. I think I answered those. The permission slips are on the RICA website. Yes, they are available there. They're also inside of the course. I've created all the links. I've done all the heavy lifting for you and put it all in one place. We had a member last year who was kind enough to translate it into Spanish. So we also have a Spanish version inside of the course. And is it just one lesson you are planning? No, you are planning 3. There are 3 lessons, 3 templates, 3 videos. Okay. So here's a couple of recommendations. I strongly, strongly recommend that you do not use the video as a first attempt. I always say it is really a challenging, it's a challenging exam. The written exam has a first-time pass rate of about 67%. The video has a first-time pass rate of 50%. Now, we did with our cohorts last year, although this was not with the just an asynchronous, this was my cohort, we actually had an 88% pass rate, which was pretty amazing last year. But I can't do that part of it. So I'm pretty confident that we can, with what I've given you, get us up to about a 70% pass rate or higher, because honestly, I'm pretty proud of it. It's a pretty cool course. I also recommend that you do study the content specifications and you know the content, because the goal here is to be a good reading teacher. All of the content under the RICA specifications these are things you're going to need to know for the duration of your career. And you only choose this option if you have your own class to work with. That really affects your classroom management with kids. It affects your scheduling. It's a little bit easier. You have a better relationship. You know those kids, and that you commit, ignore that. I missed that on this one, that you commit to a schedule. And I have created a schedule. The way I've written it out, I think that you can get this done in 6 weeks and have plenty of time. Now, could you cram it and do it 3 or 4? You absolutely could. I'm not one that likes to stress myself out. I'd rather spread it out and have some think time. So I've done it in 6 weeks. And if you enroll, you'll receive that in your first welcome email. So no matter what you decide, I want you to know that no matter what you decide as far as my course or not, if you choose to go with the video option, you definitely want to go to the RICA website and download the assessment guide and the content specifications from the CDC. You need to have that. Everything I've done is in here. I've just eliminated the overwhelm and filtered out the things that are not necessary and focused in on what's really going to move the needle. I also really recommend that you become familiar with that assessment guide. That's where all the questions will be answered. And if you want to join the course, you can start immediately. I'm going to drop the link in the chat in just a moment, and you are able to enroll. You'll get a password. You can start tonight if that's what you wanted to do. This is a challenging course. Let me look and see a couple of others. So, is the lesson template provided? The templates for those three settings are provided. You can get them off of the CDC website. So when we register and get the templates, no, the moment you register, you can actually download the templates without paying and registering. You can download it and take a look on the CDC website. June 1st, 2024 is the last day the CDC will allow you to sign up for this option. Let's see, when you sign up for the video RICA, the templates will be available to you. Oh, somebody was answering. Yeah, I think you can actually get it without signing up on the CDC. And do I offer workshops for this? No, I'm doing Q&As. I'll do one Q&A a month. And that's just going to be an open opportunity for you to ask any questions that you may have. But I'm not going to have formal workshops for this. Everything that you need will be inside of that course. And so the question is, do you Zoom in with us to assist us throughout the journey? No, only the Q&A. The rest of it will be asynchronous. Paula, hi, sweetie, go ahead.
Hello. My question is, when you do the 3 videos, do they have to be related to that first lesson? Like, so you create a lesson? No, they
Nope.
could be completely different.
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
So pick a domain.
Completely.
Okay. They don't have to be related at all.
No, they
Okay.
don't have to be related at all. They just have to be under that competency that is required. And there are a couple where you have a choice.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep.
Have a good day.
Giselle.
Thank you.
Thank you, sweetie. Giselle.
My question is, so when we have the templates and we download them, in the course that we're gonna have, are you gonna guide us like how to answer the templates?
Yep. Yep. And for those of you that are interested, when I close out this webinar, I'm actually going to take you in and show you the course tonight so that you can see it. I like to know what I'm getting into, and I want you to see all that's there so that you feel confident in that. Laura, hi, hun.
Hello. My question was, my concern is more of my videos. So is on the Q&A, would that be the place to ask you questions about that?
You can always email me. You can email and ask me questions. I'm not watching videos and I'm not going to read templates, but you can ask me general questions about, whatever is concerning you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Harpreet, hi.
Hi, Emily. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, sweetie?
Good. Emily, I have a questions. My plan is to turn everything in by next month, before October. And when will we have the Q&A so I can ask you if I'm following what has been asked? So just want to
Right
make
there.
sure that. Okay. All right. Thank you.
October 3rd. You're
All
welcome.
right, thank
Yeah,
you.
I've
Thanks.
already scheduled it. So now this is going to be a members only. I might do these informational webinars about this, probably one before each of the submissions kind of opens up. But as far as those in-depth Q&As where you're really picking my brain, those are members only. So we will have, October 3rd, 7 p.m. And I will send out an invite link to my members of the course at that time. You can just jump in and you could go, okay, I'm struggling with this. You can let me know in advance some of the pain points so that we can kind of prepare. And that's what we'll do. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So let me do this. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. And I am going to, let me give you a couple of things. First of all, I am going to drop the link, but I'll drop it a few times. This is the link if you decide you want to enroll. It's not posted on the website yet. It will be by the end of the week. I have to create the landing page for it and all of that. So right now, this is the only way you can get it is through me. The other thing that I did want to mention is if you have taken the written and you've passed any of the subtests, my recommendation is stick with the written, because doing the video, you have to do all 3 templates. So it's like starting all over again. Keep that in mind as well. Okay. There is no age restriction for the students. Correct. There used to be age restrictions. There no longer are age restrictions. You can actually use high school students. And I think this was a way to accommodate our special ed teachers, which they needed to do that. So that was a good thing. Let's see if I can get in there. Okay. So I want to show you what this course looks like and just kind of walk you behind the scenes a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. Hi, Maribel. How are you, sweetie? Good to see you. All right. I always love it when I see my friends here. All right, so let me go ahead and walk you through this. So eventually, so this is the website. If you missed the link to join tonight, it will be somewhere here. It's either going to be under the video option. It might be, it'll be linked in here somewhere. Okay. But if you decide you purchase. There's a little avatar that this is a login button. When you enroll, you create a username and a password. Everything is secured. That is your account and yours only. Please don't share them. When you click here, you go to your library. Just notice there's also a settings. That's where you can change your email address. You can, if you need to do anything with your profile, you can do that. So you click on your library, and that is going to take you to the library. And I have everything. I have our written asynchronous course. I have the podcast course for the written exam. And down below here is the video performance assessment. Now, if you are currently a member of the written exam, you need to know this is a separate course. There is no, I did kind of a tiered system last year because we hadn't rolled this out. So this is a separate course. It is the fee that you see there. And if you have all three things there, you just have access to all of your products. So you click on view product, and this will show you, basically, it'll take you to that first landing page, and it's going to show you all the components. So module 1, you can see we've got a welcome, about me, how to navigate the course, general guidelines and requirements, scoring, lesson planning overview, recording your video lessons. And then in module 2, let me go ahead and show you just a couple of things in here. When you click on these, obviously, you know that if there is a video, not all of them will have videos, but if there is a video, you'll play it here. And you absolutely start at the top and watch everything. You do not skip anything. I tell you how to use the course. You are going to miss something very important if you skip around. Trust me, don't do it. There's also information in what we call the show notes down below. And sometimes you'll see in the right margin either handouts or PDFs that you need. And so you would watch this, and then you would just keep clicking through as you finish that. This is a video that basically is going to show you what I'm showing you right now. It's just walking you through the course. But here is a schedule planner that is available for download, and it tells you what to do in 3 weeks. You have the general guidelines and requirements, and you can see here are the handouts, just like the handout I gave you today for this webinar. Here is the one for this video. The scoring guidelines, so that you understand clearly what those scoring guidelines are. I've given you a brief overview of some of that here. And lesson planning, we talk about lesson planning overview. And there is at the end a bonus content module where I have uploaded a workshop from the New Teacher Success Network where we talk about best practices. So that can help you if you're a little concerned about making sure you cover direct instruction. There's an additional workshop in here as bonus. And then what you can do to record your lesson. This is important to know some of those tips before you get started so that you don't have to re-record. So then you just click on to the next module and it keeps taking you through. Here are the templates and files. You can see in the right margin, here's the Spanish permission slip, the English version. These are the 3 templates, and these are Word documents. I also have the same documents here, but there is Google Docs. So you can work on it however you want. When you submit it, it must be submitted as either a PDF or a Word doc. Next module. These are some CDC links and additional information. So you can see everything's in one place for you. Again, I've relinked those templates. So the next module, module 4, is all about the whole class template. And it is going to give you a great deal of information about the template, how to write the template, what you're going to do. Down below here are all of the lesson ideas and YouTube links that I have vetted. So these are good examples of things that you could either use as a jumping off point, and they're broken down by different strategies to help you with that. handouts again. And then here is a sample template, and I just want to show you. So when I say sample template, the sample template is a template that I have annotated. I am not taking anybody's previous work and using it, because that puts everybody at risk for plagiarism, and I don't want to inadvertently, put anyone at risk. So I want to show you though what this looks like real quick. So here you will find our sample whole class template that I'm going to show you what I did so that it gives you a reference point. Now, I sometimes am asked if I can show other. It's so funny. I swear I listen to myself because I'm saying exactly what I just said. But in the margins, what I have are either additional links, information. Let me see if I can take it through a little bit. You can see things that I have highlighted to draw your attention to answer any questions for you. I've given you some guidelines for those lesson points. And I talk you through it here, but then you also have access to it so that you can print it and look at it, or bring it up side by side. And I've got the whole thing annotated, and I've done that for all of the templates. So here is that document that you actually can download. You don't need to make a copy of it. You don't write on it. The best way to use it is to have your blank template up, that sample annotated template side by side, so that you can go, okay, I don't understand this. What did she say? It's your automatic go-to reference. And I've done that. It's the same process for all templates. Okay, small group. Here are those YouTube videos. Here is that sample template. You download it. Same thing for the individual student. All of those YouTube videos, sample template, next module. So, and again, when you're doing this course, you would go through it in order. That's really important. Make sure that you're going through it in order. Let's see, next. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to go back. That was a mistake. Let me take that back. So there's lots of ways to work through this. Go to wrapping up. Okay. So I have a separate section on just the reflection forms that I go into a great deal of detail about what that's going to look like. And I also give you information about submitting your templates and your recordings. A lot of this is things that we learned last year with our cohorts doing this live. I learned a great deal, trust me, and I'm glad I did that. I could not have written this course as effectively as I did without going through that with them throughout the year. So we learned a lot together. And then this is the bonus content, which is inside here. You can see this is a workshop that I did in our masterclass for the New Teacher Success Network. It's all about instructional best practices, and it focuses in on direct instruction. Now, the content specifications are very clear for this option. They want to see direct instruction. Well, if you're not very comfortable with direct instruction, you need to get some understanding under your belt before you do that. So this will help. I also have a lesson plan cheat sheet here, which will give you an idea of what those steps look like so that you can actually have that as you're writing your lesson plan. Okay. And then the last part is, let's see, bonus content. So I've also created something called a yes test. Now, a yes test, let me start this here. Template. Okay. So a yes test is a revision tool that English teachers, I used it as an English teacher. I used it often, but it's meant to be a a way for you to answer questions and see that you've hit all of the requirements. Do you have this? Did you do this? Do you have this? And you are checking yourself, either yes, I do, or no, I don't. The goal is to make sure that you can go, yep, got it, got it, got it. If you don't, you know that's something you have to go back and fix before you submit it. So I have pulled out all of the requirements and made that really crystal clear. What else is really nice about that tool is that, and I also recommend this, is that when you're done with your template, it's always good to get another set of eyeballs on it. It just can't be me. So if you've got a mentor, a master teacher, a colleague, you know, anybody that you trust, you give them this yes test because they don't know what the requirements are of this submission, right? They're just going to look for grammar and spelling. They don't know the requirements. You give them this, they can help you see those requirements. Okay. So it's a super, super good tool. And then the last thing is just some final words of wisdom for me. We will be adding a template, or I'm sorry, a module number 10 whenever those Q&As are put in, and I will keep those inside here as well. They will not go out to YouTube. Those are private and for members only. What do you think? I've been working really hard. I hope I get some, like, you guys have no idea. I was working up to like 30 minutes before we started. Whew. I'm proud. I got to say I'm proud, you guys. I really went into this knowing that you need a lot of guidance, and I couldn't splinter myself off again. So I did everything I could to make sure that I am setting you up for success and that you can do it with these guidelines. Just do what I say. I always say that. Just do what I say. Trust me. Okay, let me go through the chats real quick and see if we have any other questions. Do you recommend any other books that are there as guides? Yeah, you know, Zerillo is still a great book because he talks about all the contents and the content and the competencies. So if you want some ideas and examples there, use your Zerillo book. Absolutely. You passed subtest 3, failed 1, taking 2 on Thursday. I plan to keep taking the test and do this too. Rebecca, that's a really good idea. No, we actually had a member that did that exact thing. She was working with us. She was waiting on her last one. She spent about 3 weeks with us, finally got her pass on the written, came in and joined us for our celebration after everybody else passed. So she was like, I have to pass. I am not going to put all my eggs in one basket. So it's totally doable. And are you inside of our Facebook group for the video, Rebecca? Okay. So I can, oh, I can't think of her name right now. Oh, but I can connect you because she did the same thing. She went a little crazy, but it worked. It paid off. Okay. Yeah. Do I provide examples? What you saw is the extent of the examples that I will show. In one of the videos, I do show you an example of a beginning of a lesson plan just to see it. I can't show you other people's work. That puts everybody at risk. So trust me, you got to be able to think through this, and you can, I promise you. I know it feels overwhelming. I have seen so many different types of templates. There is no one right way to do it. There's a number of right ways. You just got to make sure to have all of those requirements. And so as long as you do those, you'll be just fine. Yes, so I will be, this is being recorded and I'm going to put it into YouTube this week. Oh, okay. Do you have to use the same grade for each video template? Unclear, but if you're a special ed teacher, like let's say, or a combo class, no, because you may have kids, you may be service 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. That's okay. In your student information, you will record that. Let's see. I'm not sure if you spoke about it. Yes. So I did, Allison. It is very, yeah. If you're a nonverbal class and you've got behaviors and you got to think about how are you going to be able to have those kids demonstrate these competencies. It's just possibly outside of your realm of control. Nonverbal, I would say, is a no-go. They have to be able to do things. They have to interact with you. How long does each lesson template have to be? It depends. The lesson itself is the longest section, and the lesson would be, you have to number your steps. So you may have anywhere from 20 to 50 to 60 steps. I will say this, 10 is too few and 100's too many. That's your window. Okay. Patricia, go ahead, sweetie.
Hi, sorry, I'm not sure if you answered this already. Did you say TK is fine if I teach TK?
As long as you can demonstrate the competencies, it can be
Okay.
challenging, but it can be done. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see who is next. Sorry. Anna, hi, honey. How are you?
Hi, Emily. I'm
Good
doing
to
well.
see you, sweetie.
Likewise, thank you for having us. I appreciate it. You
Of
are
course.
amazing.
Oh, my
Um,
goodness,
I
sweeties.
am part of the VIP, and I'm going to be very honest. My results really improved. I'm so close, but I'm taking the video route just because my vision, it gets really tired and my eyes hurt, and I need eye drops constantly. So I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna try the video recording. I did the TPAs. I have an idea, but I logged on to the California RICA website, and again, the templates are not in there like the TPA templates were provided, so we have to create the templates ourselves because I've
No.
navigated it.
No, you don't have to create the template. It is in there. You should be able to access it. You don't need to, let me see if I could find it. I have a number of links here. Let me see if I have it available easily. If not, I can look for it and drop it in for you. So here's the video information, and you'll just kind of have to maneuver to the right page, but that should hopefully get you close to it.
Okay, thank you so much, Emily.
You're welcome. You're so welcome, hon. Good to see you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
I have a question, Emily.
Yes, Harpreet.
Like when we are doing a lesson plan, it says explain step by step. Do we have to use a bullet point, or can be done in one paragraph, 2 paragraphs?
No, it cannot be done in 1 paragraph or 2 paragraphs. It is step by step. They are numbered steps. It will be pages long.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Yep. You have to be detailed here. It's really, really important. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. We're going to keep talking, but I just want to stop this. So everybody wait.